I recorded my mother-in-law's conversation without telling her, and I played it back to my husband word for word, and I'm still not sure if I finally protected myself or just made everything worse. I've been with Daniel for 6 years, married for 2. His mother, Constance, has never been warm to me in the specific way that's hard to explain to people who haven't experienced it. She's never been cruel exactly. She doesn't say cutting things to my face. What she does is talk to Daniel privately, in the particular register of a woman who believes her son made a manageable mistake and is still waiting patiently for him to realize it. I've known this was happening for years. Daniel always came home from those conversations slightly rearranged, a little quieter, careful in ways he hadn't been before he left. When I brought it up, he'd say I was reading into things. He said his mom was just close to him, that she meant well, that I was sensitive. I heard that enough times that I started to believe I might be inventing something. That's a strange place to live inside your own marriage. 4 months ago, Constance came to stay with us for a long weekend. On the second evening, Daniel went to pick up dinner and left us alone in the house together. She was pleasant. We talked about her garden, a show she was watching, ordinary things. When Daniel came back, she changed slightly, the way she always does around him. Warmer, more performative, nothing you could point to. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there going over the conversation, trying to find what had made me feel so small, and I couldn't isolate it. And that was somehow worse than if she had said something specific. On the last morning, Daniel left early to run an errand, and I was getting ready upstairs when I heard Constance on the phone in the kitchen. The walls in our house are thin. She wasn't shouting, but I could hear her clearly. And what I heard her saying to whoever was on the other end was that she didn't understand what Daniel saw in me long term, that I was fine but not particularly warm, that I seemed more interested in my own career than in building a real family, and that she was starting to wonder if he'd wake up in 5 years and feel like he'd settled. I stood at the top of the stairs and I didn't move for a long time. Then I went back to my room and I opened the voice memo app on my phone, and I pressed record and I walked downstairs. I made coffee and I let her keep talking to me about nothing for 11 minutes. I got everything I needed to get. When Daniel came home 20 minutes later, she was cheerful and unhelpful and completely herself, and I sat at the kitchen table feeling like I was made of glass. I didn't say anything for 3 weeks. I listened to the recording twice, and both times I felt sick in a way that had nothing to do with surprise. Then one night, after Daniel made an offhand comment about how I could try harder with his mom, I went to my phone and I played it for him. He went very quiet. He said, "How do you have this?" I told him. He didn't say anything about the recording being wrong or invasive. He just sat there for a long time, and then he said, "I didn't know it was this bad." And something about the way he said it suggested he had known it was somewhat bad and had chosen the easier interpretation. He called his mother. I don't know exactly what was said because I gave him privacy, and I'm not sure I could have sat through it anyway. Constance called me the following day and apologized in the careful, measured way of someone apologizing for being caught, rather than for what they did. I said thank you and got off the phone. Daniel has been different since then, more present, I think, but also occasionally looking at me with something I can't fully read, like he's still working out how he feels about the recording itself, separate from what was on it. We haven't talked about that part directly, and I'm not sure when we will. His sister texted me last week to say that family dinners are going to be weird now, and asked if I was happy with myself, which is a question I've been sitting with because the honest answer is complicated. I feel vindicated, and also like I did something that can't be undone, and also like I would do it again, all 3 at once, which is exhausting. I know what I heard. I just maybe should have confronted it differently, or maybe this was the only way anything was ever going to change. My mom says I was right. My best friend says the recording was too far. I'm somewhere in the middle of both of them still. Am I the asshole for recording her?